In this world, everything seems to be normal. However, it's unknown to most those disguised monsters live among humans. Feng Xi seems to be a normal human student. He ends up finding himself in several life and death situations, which sometimes may seem like he's the fated lucky guy. However, he's killed once and awakens a special power. With that new power, he must stand up and save the world. Our story begins with Zhu's uncle warning him to be careful when outside alone, as the almanac had predicted that something bad would happen on that day. At school, Zhu opens the classroom door only to get grabbed by a young girl who tells him that she is cold. Zhao asks who she is and she tells him she is Hehyun. In the blink of an eye, Hehyun seduces Zhu into getting down and dirty. Who even needs Tinder in China? You just need to become a school night guard. While they are doing this, Feng Xi sees them and goes away, filled with disgust because he's forever alone. He hears Zhu scream out in pain but mistakes it for a one-minute man, unaware that Hehyun had just sucked Zhu's blood and killed him. Hehyun laughs over Zhu's corpse and expresses the desire to suck more blood. Feng has a terrible nightmare where his crush Suju threatens to eat him. The next day, at school, Feng loudly expresses his feelings for Suju only to find Suju standing behind him. Not knowing what to say to her, Feng Xi stutters, but Suju shocks him by asking him to follow her back to her apartment. 10,000 likes and I'll try if this works. Research purposes, of course. As they walk home, Suju tells Feng that she is scared of going home alone because of the murders that are frequently happening. But Feng tells her not to be worried, because all the victims are male, and that they all died while getting lucky, even though they didn't really get a happy ending. Suju calls Feng a dependable guy. Note that this only works in China. Everywhere else you just got friend-zoned. Feng sees her turn into a monster for a split second, making him fall to the ground with fear. But Feng blames it on the nightmare he had the previous night. But Suju confesses her feelings for Feng and they become a couple. The new lovers go shopping, but as soon as they are outside the mall, a man almost descends on Feng from the top of the building, but Suju saves him and promises to protect him as he is special. One day, while he was distributing flyers, Feng suddenly hears a man cry for help. He goes to see who it is only to come across Hehyun, a spirit monster who seduces men before taking their life force and killing them. Also the monster who is responsible for the man who almost fell on top of Feng. Feng tells her about the cry for help that attracted his attention, but Hehyun lies, saying it was because they just went hardcore. Hehyun starts to seduce Feng, but he resists her seductive powers, and a woman steps into the room before she could achieve her aim. Nevertheless, she gives Feng a business card and asks him to call her. Back inside her room, Hehyun can be seen saying that she has finally found what she was looking for. He's the chosen one. While having a drink at a restaurant, Feng sleeps off and makes a call to Suju after the waiter wakes him up, but Suju does not pick up as she was busy having her bath. And Feng mistakenly gives Hehyun's business card to the waiter. Hehyun comes to pick him up and takes him to her place where she tries to seduce him again. After seeing his call, Suju calls Feng Xi but gets no reply, after which she heads to the hotel where Hehyun had taken Feng Xi. Meanwhile, Hehyun tries to get Feng Xi to tell him he loves her so she can take his life force and kill him, but Feng Xi resists and turns away from Hehyun only to see Suju already in the room. Suju confronts Hehyun and both monsters get into a fight over Feng Xi. Hehyun pulls out her Tokyo Ghoul impression and overpowers Suju, and this is when Feng realizes that monsters do exist and his girlfriend, Suju, is one of them. In this case, a fox girl. Scared that Suju will die, Feng shows how smart he is, and instead of running the F out, he tries to body block for Suju when she gets attacked by Hehyun. In anger for what has been done to her boyfriend, Suju uses her power to attack Hehyun. Hehyun tries to block Suju's fire attacks but realizes Suju is more powerful than she is. Conjuring up her power, Suju uses fire to push Hehyun out of the hotel room. Hehyun falls on the cold, wet ground since it was a rainy night. There, as the rain falls on her, she remembers when she was still in her original tree monster form and also her hatred for rain. A passerby, who happens to be a young man, sees Hehyun lying helplessly on the ground and moves closer to check on her. In the blink of an eye, Hehyun drags him down and sucks out his life force. But even after killing this man, she still thirsts for more. She's quite a thirsty one. Feng, who had fainted when the fight started, wakes up and starts looking for Suju only to see her staring out of the window, unharmed. Suju tells him she is a monster who got close to him only because she wants to eat him. Then she tells him she was just lying and leaves him in the hotel room after putting him to sleep. The next day, the hotel receptionist comes to knock on the door only to see that the whole room has been destroyed and overturned. Not knowing what happened overnight, he blames Feng and asks him for compensation. 2 days later, Suju is nowhere to be found and Feng is still confused about who Suju really is. He knows he can't stop thinking about her but also can't help but wonder if she is a monster or not. Just as he is talking with his friends, Suju appears beside Feng. After his friends left, Suju takes Feng to a restaurant where he hands him a magnifying glass. Through this glass, Feng is able to see what Suju really is. Immediately, he places the magnifying glass over his eyes and looks at Suju. He sees fox ears on her head. He is also able to see other monsters in their true monster form. Meanwhile, Hehyun continues to prey on young males and suck out their life forces. Suju tells Feng about the history that exists between humans and monsters. She explains to him that humans and monsters have been living together for a very long period. And even though there used to be wars between these two creatures, a contract has since been drafted and that has put an end to the war between humans and monsters. Suju tells Feng that Hehyun is different and also warns him to be careful around Hehyun because she may come back to find him. Suju comes to see Feng while he is having his meal, but he, now aware that she is a monster, is scared and struggles to form coherent words in her presence. Before leaving, Suju warns Feng not to wander off outside the school gate. Feng continues using the magnifying glass Suju gave him to see those who are monsters and those who are humans. Just as he is doing this, he sees that something, in particular, has captured his friend's attention. What he could see through his magnifying glass was a tree, but when he removes it, he discovers it is Hehyun. Hehyun sees that she's been discovered and moves closer to Feng, using his friends as a trap by telling Feng they will die if he doesn't do as she says. Hehyun makes Feng come with her. She takes him to an abandoned building where she believes Suju won't be able to find them no matter what she does to him. She then treats him roughly and pins him down with her branches. This is where Feng came to discover that she was behind the death of all the young males. A flashback of when Hehyun was a little girl and desired to be human. She and her best friend, who is also a tree monster, would discuss how they would stay together even as humans. But then, humans one day decided to cut down the trees Hehyun, her best friend, and other tree monsters lived in. This is how Hehyun's hatred for humans slowly but gradually began. This brings sadness to all the tree monsters, including Hehyun and her best friend. Then they combine their energy to help Hehyun achieve humanity as she has always desired. This makes Hehyun heartbroken because she wanted to stay together with her friend even if she became human. Hehyun becomes human, but she is not happy because all her friends are gone and she feels lonely. This is the reason Hehyun keeps sucking out life forces and killing human males, to take revenge for all her dead friends. After Feng hears Hehyun's story, because she just wants attention, he decides to apologize to her on behalf of all the humans that have ever wronged her and her kind. But his apology falls on dead ears as it doesn't stop Hehyun from trying to kill him. She pierces Feng with one of her branches. At that moment, Feng feels like he is going to die and starts thinking about his life and his girlfriend, Suju. But just as he lays flat on the floor, dying, a bright light flashes from within him and reaches the sky. Hehyun feels an intense pain shoot up her arm and moves away from Feng, shocked by what had just happened. She begins to wonder how that was possible even after he sucked out his life force. As for Feng, after he recovers, he is surprised he is not dead yet, even after all what Hehyun did to him. In her anger, Hehyun impales him in the heart with several tree branches all at once, but he still doesn't die. Instead, he feels himself getting more and more powerful. Hehyun sees that Feng is still alive. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Plot armor. She sees this as a challenge and it makes her want his life force even more. The monster and the human fight long and hard, but all of Hehyun's efforts to suck out his life force keep going in vain. Feng suddenly starts to lose strength, but Suju appears in time to save him from Hehyun. Finally, waifu material has arrived. The girls start their intensive cat fight, literally for the only real alpha on the planet. Suju relentlessly attacks Hehyun with fire, not giving her the smallest breathing space. Hehyun becomes frustrated at not being able to attack Suju. In her anger and frustration starts destroying the building with her powers. Feng tries to stop Suju from going into the building Hehyun is presently destroying, but Suju doesn't listen to him and tells him not to worry about her. On getting inside the building, Suju sees Hehyun and both monsters once again confront each other and get into another long, intense fight. As they fight, the building suddenly collapses with both Suju and Hehyun still inside. Feng becomes scared for his girlfriend. Although he is still weak from his loss of strength after fighting with Hehyun, he gathers his remaining strengths and starts to frantically search for Feng in the ruins. While searching, he catches sight of a hand under a log of wood. For some reason he thinks that it is Suju's. He tries to get to it only to discover that it is Haehyun. I wonder how. Fox Girl versus Tree Girl. Oh, there's a random log, must be the Fox Girl. Really smart. Haehyun declares herself the victor in the fight and tries to attack him again, but before she could, Suju arrives and protects him. Again, the two monsters get into an intense fight with the fox monster attacking with fire, and the tree monster fighting back with branches, which totally makes sense as they fight. Haehyun asks what she has done wrong and her emotions start to show in her words as it becomes evident that she is losing the fight. Once again, Suju emerges the victor. Suju tells Haehyun she will not kill her but that she needs to give back all the life force she has absorbed and also return to her original form. Haehyun returns to her original tree monster form, where somehow she reconciles with her best friend and the other tree monsters. There, her boyfriend welcomes her back before hugging and consoling her. Seriously, who would even date this maniac? After completing a mission, Guoxuang's master gives her another one, and the task was for her to enroll in the same school as Feng, find out his real identity, and, if there was a chance that he was young in the mystic eyes, then Guoxuang is instructed to perform the mind and body with him. I don't know what he means by mind and body, but I'm in. Sounds interesting. Research purposes once again. Feng, on his way to deliver mail meant for one of his friends, bumps into Guoxuang. Guoxuang shocks him by suddenly asking him to perform the mind and body with her. But Feng flees from her after the image of Haehyun the tree monster flashes in his mind. After seeing what happened between her boyfriend and another girl, Suju walks up to Guoxuang and asks her what she wants with Feng. It is obvious to me that she wants his mind and body. Just saying. Guoxuang recognizes Suju as the blacklisted fox monster and tells her that Feng is her task. Feng wishes Guoxuang good luck on her mission before leaving. Guoxuang delivers the box that fell from his hands during their encounter to his room. He's shocked on seeing Guoxuang, and when he asks her how she knew his room, she tells him she got the information from the box. Meanwhile, our boy is suspicious of Guoxuang and doesn't know what to make of his attraction to him as he is in a relationship with Suju. While on a date, Feng Xi tells Suju that he has lost the monster scope. That is the magnifying glass she gave him. This was the same glass that helped him know who was human and who was not. However, Suju tells him not to worry as it was just an ordinary magnifying glass. He gets confused at this statement. Suju further explains to him that the only way he was able to see monsters was because he was special and has the ability to see monsters, but this ability is blocked by a seal on his body, hence why he could only see monsters through a magnifying glass and couldn't see them without one. Guoxuang keeps stalking our boy, even while he is on a date with Suju. Suju notices much to her displeasure. Do you also smell an incoming catfight? She follows him everywhere and is always there when he needs anything. Unknown to him, Guoxuang is only doing all this to accomplish the task her master had given her, and not because she has any real affection for him. Just when Feng thought he had enough of Guoxuang stalking him and following him everywhere, she brings out a nice side to her by helping him and all his friends do their assignments. She gains the approval of his friends and the admiration of everyone in the class, so much so that she is made the class rep. Feng is getting frustrated by all this excess display of affection. So, when, one day, Guoxuang once again saves him from trouble, he tries to tell her to stop trying to win him over, but she abruptly refuses and proceeds to tell him that though then the feeling is not mutual, she will never give up on Feng. Guoxuang calls her senior and tells him about her decision to do the mind and body with Feng Xi. Her senior tries to discourage her, but she is hell-bent on completing her task, especially since she knows there is a chance Feng Xi is Xianjia, the mystic eyes, and the fastest way to find out is to get his seed. I hope he's been eating some pineapple. Just as Feng was thinking about getting some sausage for his noodles, Guoxuang appears with sausage, and before he could protest, she pours it into his noodles which happens to be the last ones he has. At first, he tries to resist, but hunger gets the best of him and he eats the noodles together with the sausage provided by Guoxuang. As he eats, she tells him his room isn't safe because of monsters and then lies to him that she was sent to protect him. Feng finishes his food, and, now getting curious, he stands up to ask her who sent her to protect him, but before he could get an answer to his question, he loses all his strength and collapses on Guoxuang's shoulder. This is when she reveals to him that the sausage he ate contained special anesthesia. But before Guoxuang could fulfill her mission, his friends come into the room, prompting her to lead him away from his room and take him to a hotel. However, on getting to the Love Hotel room, Guishuang starts to cry as she realizes she can't perform her mission. Wait, what? What about some spicy sausage? My guy's dreams probably got ruined. Still crying, she calls her senior and tells him, but her cries make him think that Feng had done something to hurt Guishuang. Guishuang's senior now wants to kill our guy. Can he even enjoy his life, his moments, or even his manhood? This is all for this anime. Give the video a like, and I will see you in the next minutes.